Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. Now it's Monday morning. We've got a lot of NBA to talk about. And because it is Monday morning, we're going to welcome back old mate BK. BK, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, I actually had a quiet weekend in terms of actually, going out. I spent the whole weekend just watching NBA pretty much. So it was just a real chill weekend. I'm feeling good. A lot of good action happening. We've got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to jump straight into it, BK. We're going to start off with the NBA All-Star selections. Now, this was announced Friday morning, Australian time, after we did our show, so we didn't have a chance to talk about it. So we're going to get stuck into it right now, BK, and we're going to take a look at the East All-Stars first up. DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young are the backcourt players. Front court, Kevin Durant is also captaining. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. Now, Durant won't play, but we'll get into that in a second. We'll take a look at the West All-Stars as well. Backcourt, Steph Curry, Ja Morant. The front court players, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James captaining, and a surprise selection, I guess, somewhat. Andrew Wiggins named to his first NBA All-Star game. Now, BK, we're going to get stuck into Wiggins right now, actually, because it caused quite a bit of uproar in the NBA world. People are talking about he didn't deserve it. What's he doing there? First of all, I want to get your thoughts on Andrew Wiggins. Do you think he deserved to be in the All-Star game?
Look, I had Wiggins as on the bubble to be in the game, maybe named as a reserve. To be named a starter, I did not see this coming at all. And shout out to Bam Bam and the K-pop world helping out Wiggins there. But that really was the only one surprise from these teams. What were your thoughts? Did you see this coming at all?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Look, like you, he's actually having a really good season. And I look at Wiggins and I feel like he's kind of found a home finally in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors. And he's been playing well. There's no way. Look, if All-Star games were based on merit alone, especially the starters, he wouldn't be in there, right? But you've got to take into account that 50% of the starters being voted, it's the fan vote, right? So that accounts for 50% of the vote. And the fans clearly want him in the NBA All-Star game. All this proves to me is that there's a hell of a lot of Canadians voting.
Hey, look, this is what it is. It's the All-Star game, and in 2022, anything can happen. But you got guys that'll be on the outside looking in. Even someone like a Rudy Gobert. No one's trying to see screen assists in the All-Star game. Someone like Devin Booker, who's down as a guard. You could argue that he should be starting the game over a guy like Wiggins, but it just is what it is. He's on a great team. The Warriors, probably deserve to have two to three All-Stars in this game. I would have personally had Draymond Green over A. Wiggins, but that's not how things work. So shout out to Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he's as you said, found a home in Golden State. He's playing great on both ends of the floor. So let the man rock. I'm with it.
Yeah, and look, and to your point as well, Draymond Green's going to get in there. The coaches are going to vote him in. Like all these people that are saying, oh, he missed out. And, these guys, the ones that deserve to get into the All-Star game will be in the All-Star game. Now, whether they start or not, who really cares? Because they're going to end up getting their minutes. Draymond Green's going to play. Andrew Wiggins, everyone's going to get their fair share of the minutes. It's an All-Star game, like the guys are going to go out there. They're going to have fun. It is what it is. So I want to ask you a little bit, though, about Kevin Durant, because he is out injured now. The Nets put, I believe it's a 4 to 6 week timetable. So he clearly won't be playing in the All-Star game, BK. Now, can you shed some light, because I'm not exactly clear on how this works. Does he get to pick his replacement, or does the NBA pick his replacement?
So the league will pick a replacement player to take that spot, and then obviously another player will be slid up into the starting lineup. So you could see someone like a Jason Tatum maybe getting that spot there amongst the starters.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see who gets that. But I mean, look, if we look at out of the 10 starters here, right, I think it's a pretty fair call, in terms of the guys that were selected. Like, you're probably, those other 9 guys, aside from Wiggins, you're probably looking at the 9 best players in the league right now.
Yeah, those are the guys that will be on the All NBA teams.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I'm not mad at the All-Star selections. Look, I like Wiggins. Like I said, I think he's having a great season. And you know what? Screw it. I hope he wins All-Star MVP.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Let's go. BK, let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit about the Brooklyn Nets and in particular Kyrie Irving. Played the Warriors yesterday. They were down 19 at one point, but they came back. They made it pretty close there in the end. It was pretty much all down to one man, Mr. Kyrie Irving. He had 32, 7 and 7, was hitting some ridiculous shots, was actually looking like pre-Brooklyn Nets Kyrie yesterday. The only problem now is, again, we've mentioned the Nets lost. They're now dropping to 1-11 against elite competition this season, despite the best performance of the season from Kyrie. It was the first game of a 5-game road swing. So this is the longest stretch of games that they're going to have Kyrie eligible for. BK, what did you see yesterday from the Nets and from Kyrie?
Man, I love watching Kyrie Irving hoop. This guy, on his day when he's dancing on defenders, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line. I think he went 11 from 12 at the line. But he's just a special talent. And especially, he takes these one-on-one matchups seriously. We've seen him going at Steph Curry for years, obviously hitting that shot in Game 7 of the finals. And the matchup between these two guys, you can see Kyrie definitely gets up for it. And as you said, they do have a pivotal swing coming up on the road. But it's almost like it's just teasing us a little bit. Like, we see Kyrie, in these big games playing at this level, and then eventually he's going to have to sit back down for the home game. So it's tough for the Nets to, I guess, really find any consistency, especially with Kevin Durant being on the sidelines as well. And as you mentioned, now they drop down to 6th in the Eastern Conference. It's a logjam down there between, teams, 3, 4, 5, all the way through to, 6, 7, and 8. So the Nets have kind of got to be careful here because KD is still a few weeks away. But what they can do in the meantime to at least kind of stay afloat and stay in that race will be very, very important.
Yeah, what they can do in the meantime is keep playing Kyrie Irving, especially if he's playing at this level, because they're going to need him now more than ever. James Harden missed yesterday with a right hamstring as well. Now, you mentioned that they're in 6th. They are in 6th, but the funny thing is they're only 2.5 games back of Miami Heat, who are in first place. So it is a logjam. They've got the Suns, Kings, Jazz, and Nuggets coming up on this road swing. Like I said, they're just 1-11 against the elite competition, and they're just 5-8 in games without KD this season. BK, do you think they managed to stay afloat?
Only just. I think the fact that they have so many road games coming up definitely does work in their favor, but it's whether James Harden's going to be in the lineup consistently that I think will be the big difference maker. Because when you have Kyrie and James Harden, that's still enough to beat most teams in the league. But it's tough when you've got probably the best scorer in the league sitting on the sidelines. So this will be a pivotal stretch for the Nets because there's teams behind them that are definitely trying to make their move out of the playing seeds and up into that sort of top 4, top 5, kind of standings. So it's not going to be easy for the Nets. There's a lot of teams looking up at them on the standings. Yeah,
pivotal stretch for the Nets coming up, and shout out to Patty Mills as well. He had the flamethrower yesterday from long range, 6 of 12 from behind the 3-point line, 24 points for Patty Mills. So shout out to Patty doing his thing. BK, we're going to have to talk about Ben Simmons saga yet again. It's never ending, isn't it? I feel like everyone's going to be sick of this by the time the season comes around, because I don't think he's going to get traded and before the deadline anyway. And according to reports now, apparently the Sacramento Kings, who are one of the teams rumored to be in the mix for Ben Simmons, they've pulled out. They're not going to engage in any talks with Philadelphia. They say Philadelphia's asking price is way too high and they're not willing to pay what the 76ers are asking. And apparently the Kings could have put together a nice little package there. They've got Buddy Hield, they've got De'Aaron Fox, they've got a couple of guys there that are attractive, some picks, but they're out. Brian Windhorst said on ESPN Australia's The Jump the other day that apparently this saga might end up going to arbitration, BK, because he doesn't see any resolution to it anytime soon. What the hell is going on?
The soap opera drags on. I mean, I couldn't have imagined this running through to the All-Star break. From where we started in the offseason. And if you're the Sacramento Kings and you're saying the asking price is too high, what's the rest of the league saying? Because I think the Sacramento Kings probably had the best, package of different players that they were willing to move and could move the needle for the 76ers. So now where does that leave them? Is it a team like the Atlanta Hawks with a package built around John Collins? I don't know if that's necessarily what's going to move the needle for the Sixers. And if that's not it, then are we looking at that offseason deal for James Harden, which I don't even think is that real? Like, I think it would be a big move if that's the one you're looking for. So when you look around the league and the landscape and the asking price that the Sixers kind of have, I mean, who's going to blink first? That's the real question here. Do they have to lower their expectations or maybe try and find another star that could maybe be a bit disgruntled? Is it a Damian Lillard or a Bradley Beal? I don't really know, where they kind of look to next, because the asking price is the asking price, but it's what the market dictates. And right now the market isn't giving the Sixers a whole lot of love.
Yeah, well, yesterday's price is not today's price. So the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't know, they're going to have to maybe drop their asking price a little bit. But there was a report also yesterday from Vincent Goodwill, and he suggested that apparently there is a feeling around the league that there is collusion between the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets for a summer swap between Simmons and Harden. So that could be one to watch as well, BK. And also, I've got to mention this as well. Shaquille O'Neal, had some pretty harsh words for Simmons following the Sixers game. I believe it was the TNT Thursday night game, so Friday morning our time. He basically said he's got no respect for him, kept calling him soft, and actually didn't even address him by name through his whole little soliloquy. He just kept calling him the other guy, BK. What do you make of that?
I think this is a tough one for the legends to kind of look at. Like when you see kind of this era of player empowerment, what we're seeing now is kind of unheard of if you sort of rewind even 10 years ago. And I think the biggest issue with this, especially from Shaquille O'Neal's perspective, he's a big Joel Embiid fan. Watching Joel Embiid have the season that he's having and knowing that it's probably going to go nowhere, that's got to hurt for both Joel and the 76ers. I think Joel's just kind of been, well, I'm going to try and win MVP mode, but for them, they have a real chance in the postseason because I think they've climbed up to third in the standings now. They're doing well, but what's the end game for this? Because I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to really progress in the postseason.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And the thing is with the 76ers too, like, I feel they're holding out for like a top 25, top 30 play. I feel like at this point, because Joel's playing so well, and you do have a couple other nice pieces around him already, like if you bring in guys that, like that Sacramento package, if you bring in those guys, like that helps your team right now, So that's why I'm confused as to why they're just, they're so adamant on holding out for a top 25 guy. And if they don't get Harden, honestly, if there is no collusion, honestly, I don't know if they're going to get a top 25 guy. But we shall wait and see what happens with that one there. BK, we're going to move on to buying or selling. And we're going to talk about the Washington Wizards here. We haven't talked about the Wizards for quite a while, and there's a reason for that, because they started out the season pretty good. But since then, the Wizards are going to Wizards, and they're wizarding right now, BK. They've lost 5 in a row. So my question to you is, are we buying or selling the Washington Wizards as a playoff team?
Buying only just. I mean, they're in free fall at the moment. They started 10-3, and they've gone 13-23 since that. But the defense has really just fallen off completely. That was what was making them win games at the start of the season. And I think since that start, they've been the 27th best defense in the league. And when you look around the roster, I mean, Bradley Beal's been good, not great. Spencer Dinwiddie's had his struggles as well. And then also the front court situation with Daniel Gafford, who they gave a big contract to, hasn't been playing as much. You've got Thomas Bryant, Montrezl Harrell. There's just a weird kind of logjam there in the front court that isn't really working right now for the Wizards. So I believe they will be an interesting team to monitor at the trade deadline, because there are guys out there that I think would help them. I mean, guys like Sabonis, Christian Wood, and Miles Turner. These are names that have sort of popped up, on the speculation table around the deadline. But whether they kind of make a move for one of those guys without having to give up Bradley Beal, I still like what this Wizards team is, but geez, they're just not getting it done at the moment.
No, they're not. All right, so I did this last time, but I guess I probably shouldn't hedge my bets, right? I shouldn't put any more caveats in my declaration of whether I'm buying or selling. So I'm selling this. I don't think they're a playoff team. I thought their early season form was a bit of a mirage. I didn't think that form was sustainable by those players for the course of an NBA season. And I guess we're kind of seeing that right now. I feel like the Wizards are where we kind of expected them to be in the beginning of the season. I don't think that they've got the talent or the depth to be a playoff team. I mean, at best, I think they might sneak into a play-in seed, maybe the 10th spot right there. But no, I don't think that they're a playoff team. Even during their little, early season run, I wasn't high on them. I just didn't think it was sustainable. We'll see what happens at the trade deadline. Bradley Beal might not even be there in a few weeks. And even if he is, who do they put around him? Like you said, he's been good, but he hasn't been great. So I'm selling this 100% of the way. I've got no faith in the Washington Wizards whatsoever.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet.
But knowing my luck, watch them go on like a 10-game winning streak now, BK.
It's Kuzma season now. Let's go.
We're going to move on to our game predictions. 8 games on the schedule today. 3 of them have already been played. 1 is being played as we speak. So we're going to start off here with the Denver Nuggets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, $1.41 favorites. The Denver Nuggets, $3.05. The line is at -6.5. Total is at 232.5. Live on SBS Viceland, BK. Couple of MVP front runners battling it out in this one here. Jokic has been incredible. He's been averaging 29.3 points, 13.1 rebounds, 10.5 assists over his last 8 games. Jesus Christ, that's good. Denver's coming off a win over the Pelicans on Saturday, and a victory against the Bucks today would tie their season high streak at 5 wins in a row. Bucks 31-20 on the season. Who do you like today, BK?
Hey, let's keep the streak alive. I'm rocking with the Bucks in this one. It's going to be a fun matchup, but I like Milwaukee today.
Yeah, Milwaukee's won 4 out of their last 5. They beat the Knicks on Saturday, which, I mean, anyone can beat the Knicks.
Supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. So I'm with you, BK. I actually think Milwaukee get the win today as well. I'm rocking with my Greek brother, Giannis. Next game we're going to take a look at here, the Dallas Mavericks and the Orlando Magic. Actually, I'm surprised at this one here. The Mavericks are $1.51. Orlando, it's only $2.69. The line's at 5. Total's at 211 flat. Live on NBA League Pass, BK. Look, like I keep saying, Orlando is Orlando, one of the most irrelevant franchises in the league. Mavs had a good win over the Pacers on Sunday. They've won 2 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. I just think they've got too much talent for a pretty irrelevant Orlando team.
They're killing the Magic here.
I don't like them at all. Like, I really do think they're so irrelevant.
And just for that, I like the Mavs. I've been on the Mavs in their recent little resurgence, so I'm all in on Dallas.
Yeah, that one's easy. Put all your money on the Mavericks. Next game we're going to take a look at here, we've got the Jazz and the Timberwolves. This one actually I think might be kind of interesting. The Timberwolves are $1.74 favorite. Utah Jazz 218. The line's at -2. Total 229 flat. Live on NBA League Pass as well. Now the Jazz are in a bit of a slump, BK. They've lost 4 in a row. They're actually just 1 game ahead of the Mavs in the 5th seed and only 2 in front of a surging Denver squad. No Rudy Gobert. I believe Donovan Mitchell might be ruled out. He was questionable as of this morning when I saw, so they want to keep an eye on there. Minnesota have lost a couple in a row too. Pat Bev and D'Angelo Russell are both questionable for this game. BK, who do you like?
Jazz have been struggling of late just because they haven't had bodies out on the floor, and I think that's Probably going to be the case again today. So I'm going to go with the Timberwolves in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. No Gobert, and if Donovan Mitchell's not playing as well, and yeah, I think this one's pretty easy. I like the Timberwolves at home. BK, last game we're going to take a look at here. San Antonio Spurs and the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns are $1.10 favorites for a reason. The San Antonio Spurs paying $8. The line's at -13.5. Totals at 227.5 live on NBA League Pass. The Suns are scorching. They've won 9 in a row. They've gone on another winning streak. 20-5 at home. Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, JaVale McGee, all questionable for this game. But to be perfectly honest, I don't think they're going to need them against the Spurs. Spurs 19-31. No DeJounte Murray. No Jakob Poeltl. So it could be a chance for the Jock Landale game today. No Derek White as well. Suns at home. I think this one, goes without saying.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. The Suns are the best team in basketball right now. If you're trying to make some money on a miracle, go for the Spurs. But I'm rocking with Phoenix here.
Yeah, it's a miracle for a reason because it's not going to happen. I don't see any way that the Spurs beat the Suns.
We'll just have to eat our words in a few hours.
Yeah, 100%. We've just put the curse on the Phoenix Suns. It doesn't work when I do it with the Knicks, though, for some reason. All right, BK, we're going to get out of here, my brother. We're going to see you again on Friday morning. Have a good week, my man. Enjoy the NBA action. We'll catch you on Friday morning. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. We'll see you guys on Wednesday morning.